Good afternoon, everyone. It appears to be 4 p.m. Let's call this Plan Commission meeting to order. Today is January 2nd. You take roll call, please, Kyle.
Mayor Blazer,
January 9th, thank you.
Alder Austin,
Here.
Lee Tao,
Here.
Eric Dobbin, absent, Susan Peet,
Here.
Ben Goodrow,
Here.
Ben Kubishak.
He will be coming in shortly.
Okay.
You need one?
What's that?
Okay.
Oh, we have a forum.
Mr. Kushak will be in shortly. They need me at the other meeting for a quorum. So do we have still have a quorum if I leave?
Yes, we
Okay.
can lose one, and if that's coming, yeah, we would have.
Okay. Mr. Austin could run this one and I'll go to the next one. Unless Lee really wants to go.
It doesn't matter. All right, good luck, Mayor Blazer.
Thank you.
Moving on to agenda item 1, approval of the report from the December 5, 2022 Planning Commission meeting.
Make a motion to approve.
Second the motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. All in favor, respond with aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. All right, moving on to item 2, Teresa Cashman, 22-001285, request for a special exception from architectural standards for trash enclosures in commercial districts at 3820 East Street South, parcel ID 3413806. Kyle?
Thank you. I will turn it over to Carrie, who will give a brief summary of the item.
All right, thank you, Alder Austin and members of the commission. So this item before you, you may remember not long ago, the Plan Commission approved an amendment to the architectural standards in Chapter 11 zoning to allow commercial districts to have different standards for trash enclosures. So on this project in July of 2020, the applicant went before the Plan Commission to construct a new coffee shop in the B2 General Commercial District. So that was a couple years ago. Subsequently, they have returned for a building expansion, parking expansion, and an accessory structure at the location due to the nature of their growing business. So at the time the project was approved, trash enclosures in commercial districts were required to be of brick, textured concrete masonry units, and/or wood. And since that time, the Plan Commission has approved a special exception process to allow chain link trash enclosures in commercial districts when specific standards are met. And so at this time, the applicant is before you for that special exception to allow chain link trash enclosures in commercial districts and at their location. So looking at this, what was approved previously is the enclosure is required to be located within the rear yard, which this trash enclosure is. The chain link fence surrounding the trash enclosure shall have privacy slats installed, which they are proposing. The third standard is that the landscaping must be installed that screens the trash enclosure at maturity and must be a minimum of 50% of the enclosure height at planting. And there were indications on the plans noting that this would be done. However, we're unable to confirm this due to the specific information. We don't have specific information indicating this. And then the gate must be 100% opaque, constructed of wood, synthetic material, or metal. And again, we're also unable to confirm this. There was a notation on the plans that this would be done. However, typically the way it works is we have specifics about what will be done, and then we're able to kind of cross-check this with the code language and ensure that these standards are met. And in this case, we were not able to do this. So without knowing what specifically is being proposed in terms of plantings or of the gate material, it's difficult for staff to make a recommendation. And as special exceptions are already granting some relief from accepted standards, we would like these details to be in place just so that we confirm conditions will be met. So in this case, we are recommending denial just based on the lack of information. And if anyone has any questions, a representative for the applicant is here. And I will turn it back over to Alder Austin.
Thank you. Any questions or comments by commission? Hearing none, what are commission's wishes?
Brian, can I
Go ahead, Josh.
just want to comment? Jim, did you have any other details regarding the project?
I got some, I thought he was asking for commission comments, but
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that
Okay.
if they made a motion, that you had an opportunity, and if, you know, if you had something.
I would recognize the gentleman if you'd like to speak. Please state your name and address.
yeah, my name is Jim Lucas, 1930 First Street North. I spoke with Teresa, I was expecting her here today. The fence company, American Fence, can provide slats that provide 98% opaque as an option, and the other option is they would take the chain link down and attach wood to the fence frame. So if 98% is acceptable, if that's close enough to 100%, that's, I think, her preference. Otherwise, she'll put wood on. And I thought you had a landscape plan.
I don't know, we don't have a landscape plan, we just had the plans that said that the landscaping would be installed to be at 50%, but we didn't see specifics about species or anything to verify the landscaping.
Okay.
Susan?
Mr. Austin, I would move to take the staff recommendation and deny until such time as those two requirements are met.
I'll second that.
Motion by Susan, second by Ben. Is there any other discussion?
I have a comment, if I may.
Go ahead.
If he does, or if the commission does recognize that wood attached to the gate would meet that requirement, that would meet one of the concerns that staff brought up. The other concern regarding the species, did Teresa identify anything that, arborvitae or anything like that may be pursued?
Well, we submitted something with dogwoods, and then we're told, well, dogwoods won't work. But the code says shrubs. I put shrubs on the drawing, and then we were told, well, those shrubs aren't the right shrubs. So then we said, we'll plant shrubs that meet the code, and now you're saying that's not specific enough. So
I know the plan.
if you want a specific shrub, just say it's gotta be deciduous arborvitae, and then that's what we'll do.
I don't, in our conversations, there wasn't any discussion about them not being the right shrubs, it was just that we needed indication of what types of shrubs and to verify that they would be
Right.
covering that enclosure.
Right, but the first one was dogwoods, and then we were told that that's not the right shrub. So that's why we said, okay, then we'll do arborvitae.
Well, I think the conversation about dogwoods is, it would be difficult to screen with dogwoods just because of the
Right,
nature of
right.
the deciduous losing their leaves and that sort of thing.
And I just want you to take at least 15 seconds and think about the fact you're requiring her to plant plantings to screen the screen around the dumpster. So why would you make somebody put up a fence that then you have to put shrubs around so nobody can see the fence? Just think about it. I know I'm not going to change any minds, but if you put yourself in the business owner's shoes, when she looks next door and there's dumpsters rolling around the parking lot, she looks to the south, there's dumpsters rolling around the parking lot. It just trying to understand her point of view. But lay it on me, what do you want for shrubs? We'll make it arborvitae and we'll make it screen and we'll be done with it.
In response to that, I think if the commission has a comfort level in approving a wooden fence, as Jim noted was an option with the fence contractor, for the gate, that would meet the fence standard within the code. With regards to the plants, if the commission feels as though arborvitae would adequately screen it, I would ask that, again, those two conditions then be added to the approval. If, again, because there's a motion on the floor, if the commission does not feel comfortable with those requirements, you can certainly act on the motion as you see fit. Thank you.
Thank you. Susan?
I guess I would call the question. We're looking at a property here that's already has several unfulfilled commitments, and we have requested or required that every other commercial property along the 8th Street corridor abide by the rules. So I would propose that we call a question.
Any other comments, discussion? Hearing none, we have a motion and a second on the floor. We'll go to vote. All in favor, respond with aye. Aye. Ayes have it. All right, moving on, item 3, N&N Auto Outlet, 22-001286, request for a site plan review to perform site improvements at 641 Dale Street, parcel ID 3408020, 3408029, and 3408021. Kyle?
Again, I'll turn it over to Carrie. She'll give a brief summary of the request, and I do want to note that the applicant and the consultant are here. Thank you.
So the project before you involves a certified survey map to consolidate the 3 parcels that are on the screen now. The property to the east is an existing commercial building that will be used for vehicle sales, and the reason for the consolidation is to provide adequate parking for the use. So the applicant is proposing vehicle sales at 641 Dale Street. It is a permitted use in the B2 General Commercial District. And as I said, the project includes lot consolidation and also parking lot reconstruction. So the site plan review application before the Plan Commission is for that parking lot reconstruction because, as I said, the building itself is existing. This is a site plan showing the configuration of the parking and the landscape islands that'll be incorporated. It is a permitted use in the B2 district. Dimensional standards are met. There are 2 points of ingress and egress that are included with this proposal. Parking as proposed meets accessibility requirements. The spaces to the north will be adjacent to residential properties. So this does flag some buffer yard standards because of the adjacent residential uses. And some of these spaces, as you can see kind of in the center north area, are set south a bit to allow for a distance requirement that's required from residential. And these spaces will also be marked for employee parking only because there is language in the vehicle sales section that has some distance requirement for activities. The language is, I think, the activities associated with the use need to be spaced a certain distance from residential. So parking and landscaping, including an 8-foot buffer yard adjacent to residential, are met. There are also substantial existing trees along the northern property line that will be retained. A lot of them are right on the property line, and our zoning code does have an allowance. It gives some credit for retaining these existing mature trees, and in this case, I think that is quite a benefit to retain those. There is parking lot lighting proposed, and we think with the proposed fencing and landscaping, some of the lighting shown on the photometrics will be mitigated with that. And here are some of the photos. So the larger photo is the existing building, and then the other photos are the parking area that is to the west of that building, the west and north. So we are recommending approval with conditions, including the certified survey map being finalized prior to construction, proper signage installed identifying vehicle directions. Again, those 6 parking spaces adjacent to the residential will be marked employee parking only. The lighting requirements must be met. They have been talking with our city engineering department on the stormwater management and have a good plan for that. One item of note, there is one parking space on the southwest corner that is encroaching into the vision triangle. And so there will be a little bit of modification to meet that requirement, and that is noted in red. That's a condition that was added after the staff report was prepared. And then that all applicable permits through the city shall be obtained. And I'll turn it back over to Alder Austin.
Thank you. Questions or comments by commission?
I guess this would be a question for Kyle and Carrie, and that is, what are the requirements by code for the paving in the portion of the combined lot that would be to the west of the building?
To the west of the building, so there are essentially two things going on. There's the new parking lot that's to the west, and then the existing pavement. The existing pavement is looked at as kind of existing non-conforming parking and can remain. The west side is looked at as a new lot, essentially, as development, and it would have to meet landscaping standards. There are a few things that wouldn't come into play, given the nature of the use in the existing building that's there. But otherwise, it's looked at as a new lot.
I guess more specifically, my question is, will it be an asphalt paving that goes on that, or what is the code, what does the code require on that portion of the property that does not currently have asphalt paving?
Yes, the code requires asphalt for that portion, henceforth the reason to come before Plan Commission. I will note that there's a section of the code that does permit them to operate the use until such time that they can pave it, so when the spring approaches, they'll be able to get out there and pave it. They obviously can't do it now, but instead of stifling development, they're allowed to operate currently, and then after this site approval, they would have to pave it accordingly.
Anyone else? What are commission's wishes?
Make a motion to approve.
With the conditions,
Yeah, with the ones listed that the staff has and recommendations.
I would second
All right, we have a motion, and a second for approval, subject to staff recommendations. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to vote. All in favor, respond with aye. Aye.
that.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. All right, moving on, item 4, adjournment. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, respond with aye. Aye. Have a great evening, everyone. Thank you.